Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris, as usual, and we're taking a look at what's been happening this week and some of the things I've seen as per normal. It's beginning of October. It's starting to get a bit chillier here in the UK, so hence the hoodies had to make a reappearance as we head towards winter, which is a shame. But obviously, there's a lot of new content, TV-wise, especially it gets released this sort of time of the year. So what do we got this week? Loads of trailers for new stuff. First one up being Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, coming to HBO Max in the States. Not sure what it will come to here in the UK here. I know all the last Game of Thrones stuff came to Sky Atlantic, wasn't it? So that's coming. It's coming next year. It's set 200 years before Game of Thrones, all about the Targaryens. And yeah, I don't know. Is it too little, too late? It's one of those things, isn't it? Everyone knows the story of Game of Thrones. It was absolutely huge, and the last season came along, and a lot of people were disappointed by it. Yeah, I'll admit it is disappointing. I enjoyed it, I think, more than most. I didn't have problems with the actual storyline. A lot of people seem to have issues with, Khaleesi becoming sort of the bad guy at the end. But I thought that was pretty well signposted that's exactly what was going to happen. I didn't seem to be any other way around that. For me, it was just that whole same sort of complaints other people have had. The truncation of the story, making it a smaller series, the fact that people spent it took months and months to travel anywhere in Westeros, and then in the final season it just seemed to be people just literally walk down the road, and there was King's Landing and things like that. And then obviously the big one for me was the Night King and his army. The whole series is built up to this, and it was all over in one episode, one very darkly lit episode where you could hardly see bugger all what was going on. It just seemed such an anticlimactic part for me. And then whereas Game of Thrones has been sort of built up so much about uh, anyone could die. It was one of those things you couldn't guarantee. Well, just because that guy's the hero doesn't mean that he's not going to die. And then they sort of bottled it at the end, and all the people that died in that battle were all just sort of bit parts. And all the main characters basically survived to the end. So yeah, shame. But anyway, yeah, I waffle on about Game of Thrones there. But yeah, House of the Dragons coming next year. Yeah, it's the trailer doesn't show much. It looks a bit. I mean, you accepted Khaleesi with her sort of bleach blonde hair. It looks a bit odd, but that's the way she looked. And I don't know, for me, just the whole trailer looks. I don't know if they've done it on the cheap. Perhaps they know it's not going to be as popular. I don't know. It just looks like you've now got lots of people wearing these blonde wigs. Matt Smith from Doctor Who, especially. I thought this looks a bit odd. But yeah, that is coming next year. I don't know if there's still an appetite for it. I mean, George R.R. Martin just seems completely disinterested in ever finishing the books whatsoever. And saying the TV show left a bad taste in people's mouths. So yeah, we'll see whether or not that'll be. It's definitely not going to be a big success as I imagine they hoped it was when they greenlit all these prequels and spin-offs and things. But yeah, it's coming say next year sometime. No actual date as of yet. We also got the trailer for Locke and Key Series 2. That's coming to Netflix October the 22nd, based on the comic books written by Joe Hill, which, as I'm sure all of you true geeks know, is the son of legendary horror author Stephen King. Season 1, I quite enjoyed it. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. I think the problem is, the story is effectively this guy dies, and his widow and the kids move into this old family home, and supernatural shenanigans occur. There are these different keys that all do different things. Open portals allow you to travel instantly. There's one that you stick it in like under your chin, and it allows you to change your appearance to look like anyone else, and all various different things like that. I think they geared it more to a teen audience. There were a lot of scenes that bogged the show down. I thought that almost as like a teen college sort of drama, that sort of young adult thing. Some of the effects were a bit ropey. Some of the CG work, I don't think there wasn't a massive budget. I don't think that sometimes Netflix spends on these things. But I must admit, yeah, the trailer for season 2 has it has sort of reeled me back in. It looks pretty good. I know cutting trailers together as an art form, and then when done well, it can absolutely sucker you in to watch something that then turns out and you think, yeah, hang on, all the best bits were in the trailer. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. They're forging their own keys by the looks of it. So there'll be new powers presumably. I must admit I haven't read the comics. They're on my list of many things that I need to get around to reading. I know there were issues people had with the first. I think the comics are quite adult. Again, so I think they pitched it towards a younger audience, so took out a lot of the gore and a lot of the big scares and things like that, and some of the more mature themes, which is fair enough. But I think it may have lost something in translation. But yeah, that's like October 22nd. That is on Netflix. I mean, then we also got also coming to Netflix December 3rd, Lost in Space, season 3, the final season. And again, yeah, seasons 1 and 2 I really enjoyed. They did something different. I was expecting just a sort of rehash of the original series, but it isn't. The Robinson family was sort of on their own for a brief time at the beginning of season 1, and they brought in all these other colonists. And then season 2 was very much back out to the big sort of colony ship, and all the robot things attacking. And it was all a bit different. I seem to recall season 2 ended with maybe going back towards a bit like the original season, that the original show, back in the day, with them going through some sort of wormhole and literally being lost in space this time. So yeah, be interesting. But yeah, I really enjoy that. It's always good to hear the John Williams theme tune again. The sort of reimagining of the robot helping Will Robinson as this big creepy alien thing that actually there are, and then there's lots of them that come back later on. Yeah, December the 1st, that is. So look forward to that. We then also got the trailer for Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Not a great title. I don't know what it sounds a bit. I mean, probably you've had there's nothing to do with the Resident Evil series of films with Mila Jovovich. It's a complete, obviously, reboot. So if you had to just called it Resident Evil, I suppose it causes maybe problems in the perception with the public. You then could go with the sort of standard crappy, Resident Evil Origins or something like that. So they've gone with Welcome to Raccoon City. It makes it sound like sort of like an episode title if it was a TV show and the episode 1 was called Welcome to Raccoon City. It's a bit of a strange title, but anyway, it looks obviously it looks like it's much more faithful to the games. It looks like it is bits of 1 and 2 smashed together. Obviously a lot. It looks. There's a lot of stuff. Like, you got the zombie dogs in it. Some scenes are ripped straight out of the game with the sort of look at where they first find the zombie. At least there are zombies in it. That was my main problem. I am not a fan of the Resident Evil film series as it is. The first one was all right if you ignore the fact it's a Resident Evil film. As a group of sort of soldiers infiltrating a mad scientific base, it's all right. It was only about one scene with zombies in it, I think. This looks obviously, it's got a lot more zombies, a lot more going on. Whether or not it'd be any good, I mean, I don't know. It's directed by, is it Johannes Roberts, who did 47 Meters Down, I think, and its sequel, Uncaged, where they go down into in a shark cage. I love shark movies, and that one it's all right, but it doesn't really hold up towards the end. He also did The Strangers Prey at Night, which was absolute dog shit. No two ways about that. It was absolute garbage fire. So it'd be interesting to see. Some of the CG looks ropey at the end of the trailer with the spitters or some of the big mutant creatures. I would like to say, sometimes trailers CGI doesn't look that good and it gets better. But I mean, the film's out November the 24th, it gets released, so it's not a lot of time. So I suspect that might be the final footage, but we'll see. It's got Kaya Scodelario, who I enjoyed in Crawl, because I like sort of man versus nature movies, and that one she's up against some alligators attacking her in a house down in Florida, which is quite a good laugh. That's a good gore in that one. You've got Robbie Amell and Tom Hopper, who we obviously love as Luther, the big monkey man in Umbrella Academy. He's playing Wesker, I think, which a name familiar to anyone that's played the games at all. So yeah, say November 24th, that one. So I'll put links to all these trailers in the description below, as always. Also, if I can remind you at this point, if you can like and subscribe, would be absolutely fantastic and help the channel out a great deal. Picked up quite a few new subscribers last week, which was great. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. Indiana Jones 5, let's go on to their requisite Indiana Jones 5. It seems like I've been reporting on this film for months and months. I think because of the COVID delays and because of Harrison Ford's shoulder injury, it has caused issues. But they are now, I think I said last week, they were heading down to Italy and they are there. And Harrison Ford is back and there is filming. And Mads Mikkelsen has been seen on set as well. All of these images I found on the internet just showing various different scenes, and the ones in like the bazaar. It looks very Indiana Jones, it's very much like the alleyways and the bazaars in Egypt, in Cairo from Raiders. Obviously, instead of these are set in the 60s, so they're a bit more updated, but it has got that Indiana Jones feel to it. So yeah, that is trundling along. Filming is getting there, so hopefully, still don't think we'll see a trailer or anything this side of Christmas, but we'll see about that. That's about it for news. What have I watched this week? What do we have? The Marvel's What If on Disney Plus had its finale of its first season, and it was pretty good. I wasn't expecting when the series started that I thought they were going to be these one-off stories, and obviously they mainly are. But it's the way they've brought them all together by having this alternate multiverse version of Ultron, who has become self-aware, basically like envisions body, and then got all the Infinity Stones and become this major force who's now slaughtering every multiverse going. And the Watcher has brought everyone, all the various different people from the other episodes together into one big battle, and it was quite fun the way it was done. The very very strange thing about it is that you've got the Watcher goes and picks up Gamora, who is with Tony in some Hulkbuster armor, all painted up on Sakaar from Thor Ragnarok. Now, you haven't missed anything. This was an episode which didn't get finished because of COVID. So they're going to show it as part of next season, which is very strange. It's basically Tony ends up on Sakaar. I'm assuming he's got the Hulkbuster armor, so whether or not he ends up having to fight the Hulk, obviously Gamora's there. I think Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster features. It's meant to be a very funny episode, a bit like the Thor, the Party Thor one, with all the shenanigans he was causing on Earth. But yes, shame we don't get to see it now till next season. But we've already sort of had the denouement of it in this season finale, so it's a bit odd. But in case you watch it and think what was happening there, there is another episode that did not get finished, unfortunately. Interesting. Obviously there's a little cliffhanger at the end in the ending credits, so hang around for that, and obviously leading in that we will see more of, especially of Agent Carter. We will see more of her and Steve and the Hydra Stomper robot in next season. Also this week, Muppets Haunted Mansion dropped on Disney Plus, and I loved it. It's a love letter to the Muppets and Halloween, but also very much the Haunted Mansion, the ride it's in Disney World, Disneyland, and the various Disney parks in different incarnations around the world. If you're a fan of the ride and Disney in general, it's got a lot of the sort of storyline that runs through the ride, which is the 999 happy ghosts. That live in the mansion. It very wisely follows the Great Gonzo and Pepe the King Prawn as the protagonists, which is great because they are funny. I love Gonzo, and it's just stupid. There's songs in it, and there are just lots of puns. There's a typical just Muppet stupidness. There is the best thing is there's a goat that screams, that just keeps recurring and just screams. That's all it does. And there's two skeleton zombie things that keep popping up at important scary moments to deliver the dun dun duns, which they can never quite do on time and keep mucking up. It's juvenile and it's not sophisticated, and it's fantastic, and I loved it. As I've said before, I love the Muppets. And if that's your bag, watch that. It's only about 45 minutes. It's all good fun. You got Will Arnett is in it, Taraji P. Henson, Danny Trejo as loads of cameos, the usual thing. John Stamos turns up, which is great. Pepe, is it Pepe or yeah, it's Pepe, absolutely. Yeah, mangling his name, and just stupid gags like that. Kermit and Miss Piggy, who aren't in it very much to say, it mostly follows Gonzo and Pepe around. Gonzo and Miss Piggy dressing up as each other is fantastic as well. So yeah, love the Muppets. Muppets Haunted Mansion is out on Disney Plus. Check it out. Black Widow dropped last. Well, I think it was maybe last Friday, but it just dropped on the Thursday. Disney seemed to do that quite a lot. Just um, sometimes put things up early, or like in the instance of Free Guy, just suddenly drop it with sort of no warning, no big fanfare whatsoever. So yeah, check that out. That's about all I've managed to watch this week. So yeah, from us here, thanks for watching. Say please subscribe. That would be fantastic. We'd love to have you. And take care. And until next week, eat geek and be merry.